Goldendoodle puppies are becoming part of more and more households around the world. People are really maxing out on the puppy love. So it's quite typical to take hundreds of photos as your Goldendoodle is growing up. And rightly so, because that puppy time goes past super quickly. If I had my time again with Sophie, I'd approach capturing that time a whole lot better. Let me share 3 easy tips and ideas with you, which I wish I knew when Sophie was a wee little one. And stick around to the end when I tell you the single biggest mistake I made when photographing Sophie as a pup, and how you can avoid it. Keep in mind that for about the first 5 months, Goldendoodle puppies grow exponentially. If you get your pup at approximately 8 weeks of age, you can expect to see big differences in growth, even weekly. That's a photo opportunity you can't go back and get later. So here are some simple ways of getting a beautiful keepsake of your puppy's growth journey. Now, my first really quick tip is a kind of preliminary, and that's to free up the data storage in your phone camera or your regular camera. You want to make lots of space available for new photos and videos, so you don't run out of space at some inconvenient moment and have to spend the time transferring old data to make room. Ideally, this is a good thing to do just before your puppy arrives, because trust me, you are about to get super busy with lots of other things. Now let me tell you about those hundreds of photos I took of little Sophie. Most of them weren't any good. Trying to capture a lively moving puppy exploring its new world means this. By the time your finger snaps a photo, the pup is facing the other way, has turned into a blur, or at the least is no longer looking into the camera lens. That also made it more time-consuming later on to go through photos and delete all the duds. So my second tip consists of 2 parts. Firstly, go through your camera settings and set it to high resolution video. And secondly, instead of taking individual photos, take short videos of your pup. That way, rather than snapping and snapping lots of bad photos, you can go through your footage and take a video capture of the exact second your puppy has a good photo moment. With that high resolution video, you're more likely to get nicer, clearer video capture photos. And it does mean your data storage will fill up again more quickly, so keep an eye out on how you're tracking and keep videoing away. My third tip is to capture your Goldendoodle's growth progression in a consistent way over time. I really wish I did this one. There are 2 things you could do. Firstly, decide on a single background setting for your pup's photos. Then take your little videos or photos in the same spot with the same pose once a week, say every Sunday morning. Even in that weekly capture, you will see a size progression, and once the pup reaches about 5 months old, the rate of growth slows down. So at that point, it's fine to take a growth progression video about once a month until they're not growing any longer. For Sophie, that was at about 1 year and 4 months old. The other thing is to make sure there is some object or piece of furniture in the setting, like a chair, cushion, sofa, or ornament. That way you see how big your puppy is getting in comparison to something else with a constant size that's next to it. I really like this photographic setting created by a breeder selling his pups. Not only is there a decoration in the background against which you can gauge the pup's growth, but the little age and weight board is also really handy to have, especially once you get to your 10th photo and forget the puppy's stats from the previous weeks. Another thing is lots of people do growth progression photos like this while holding their puppy. But by the time the puppy is fully grown, they're really heaving to keep up the same pose. In Sophie's case, she ended up about 6 times heavier when fully grown than at 8 weeks of age. So if you want to be in the photos with your puppy and use the same pose, maybe opt for being next to them, or at least not carrying them. Unless you have a lightweight mini Goldendoodle, or you're really strong. And another bonus quick tip is to take photos and videos in daytime. You'd want to avoid using the flash on your camera, because the dog's eyes reflect light and flash photos end up making them all shiny-eyed, like this. Now let me tell you about the biggest mistake I personally made when it comes to taking photos of young Sophie. I was much too practical about puppy-proofing my house. I took away the nicer floor rug in preparation for pottier accidents. So far so good, but I temporarily replaced it with the oldest, ugliest blanket I had. You know that blanket you hold on to for moving furniture? I reasoned that it would be pottied on, and sure enough it was at the start. Meanwhile, I had such puppy brain and focused so much on photographing her, I didn't take into account that the ugly blanket, along with my rattiest dog towels, would serve as a not so nice background to many precious early puppy photos of Sophie. That's a fail. I still advocate rolling up and putting away good indoor rugs at the beginning, but if I had my time again, I'd have purchased an outdoor rug and temporarily put it indoors because outdoor rugs are much more stain resistant and durable. That way I wouldn't have had a bare floor or one covered in ugly old blankets and towels, and the background of Sophie's puppy photos would have been a whole lot nicer. So that's something I recommend you look into. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed the information, leave a thumbs up below and subscribe to this channel for plenty more chat about Goldendoodles. Thanks for your company and see you again later.